Hi, welcome to Baptronics Labs. I'm Bruce, and today we have another very nice looking HP5381A 80 megahertz frequency counter. And the counter's been cleaned. Its switches inside have been cleaned. The case has been painted nicely. The faceplate's been carefully cleaned. And as you can see, the results are that you got a real beauty here. It looks practically new. And take a look at the bottom of it here. Got both bottom stand pieces. Nice cast metal case. You don't find cases that quality hardly anymore, and if you did, they'd be quite expensive. And the unit's been calibrated. Has a TCXO crystal oscillator in it, and right now you can see that we're calibrated at 10 megahertz to better than a hertz. Right now we're flashing 0 to 1, so we're a fraction of a hertz off of perfect. We go to the 10-second time frame and we can take another look at it here and we'll get a better idea of, alright, we're about a half a hertz out according to that. Probably going to be a little bit more on this second go round here. Let's see. Unit performs very well. We're going to run it through some tests. Primarily we're going to focus on the sensitivity at the extremes, and then we're going to make sure that we can hit the extreme ends and that it'll be within spec then. Well, we actually came down. We're at 0.4 hertz off of being perfect. Now, the unit's been on for 24 hours. It's as warm as it's going to get. Physically, it's slightly warm to the touch. The room in here is at about 69 degrees. Should be repeatable in a similar environment. So let's get started on it. Well, okay, what we're doing is we've got the HP5320B frequency synthesizer generating our low frequency signal right now, in this case 5 Hertz. That's the low end spec range. At that spec, we're rated at 25 millivolts of input RMS, which would translate to about 35.4 millivolts peak. And right now I've got my scope. I'm feeding the signal into my scope. I can see the signal dancing across at 5 Hertz rate. I'm not interested in measuring the frequency right now with the scope. I want to look at the amplitude. So I'm killing the sweep. I'm on the 10 millivolt per division range, and I'm counting 1, 2, 3. So there's 30 and a half, so that'd be 35 millivolts, and then we could actually adjust it for 0.35 more. I'm going to call it right there and say that's it. So we're going to see if we can see that signal, that 5 Hertz signal, come in on this HP. And by golly, there she is. So we're reading 5 Hertz at 25 millivolts RMS, and we're going to now go up to, I think the next step was, okay, we're generating a 20 megahertz signal from this 8640B. We're feeding that signal into the scope right now, and once again we'll kill the trace. We'll look at the amplitude, and we see that we are 1, 2, 3 and a half divisions up, so we're 35 millivolts peak at 20 megahertz. So let's see if we are able to resolve the 20 megahertz on this counter as well. And change our response. There we go. And we got 20 megahertz. So from 5 hertz to 20 megahertz, we've met our 25 millivolt RMS input. Let's at this point now, we're supposed to go to 50 millivolts up to 80 megahertz. So let's try and increase our signal to 80 megahertz and 50 millivolts and see what happens. Alright, we've got the 8640B tuned to about 80 megahertz right now. We're feeding that signal in on the oscilloscope. We've adjusted ourselves. We want an amplitude of 50 millivolt RMS, which is about double where we were. So we should go from 35.4 to about 70.8 or 71 millivolts peak. So right now we're on 20 millivolts per division. We see 1, 2, 3, that's 60 millivolts. 4 would be 80, but we're only about halfway up there, so that's 70 millivolts. And if we just adjust it to give ourselves a hair over 70, I'm going to call it there. And disconnect ourselves from the scope. Put her on the input of the meter, and we see that we are reading right now 79.998, 79.998. We can kick that up a little bit without adjusting the amplitude. All right, 80 megahertz. And we're at the 71 millivolt peak. Alright, so we've met our specs. The unit looks beautiful. It's functioning beautifully. I'm going to include a CD with the manual, service manual and user manual on it. And I'll even throw in a pair of test leads, just beginner gator clip type test leads. So, happy bidding. Thank you for listening. Bye.